Welcome, riders, ridettes, and pillions. I'm Elliot, and you're watching the Van Blam YouTube channel. This is a 2021 Royal Enfield Himalayan, a stylish, approachable mini adventure bike that's meant to spend as much time on the dirt as it does on the pavement. But where is it more fun? That's what we're going to find out today, so stay tuned. I've rented this Himalayan here in Denver through a service called Riders Share, which is basically the Turo of motorcycles, allowing private owners to earn money renting out their bikes when they're not using them. This is my first experience with Riders Share, and it's been pretty great so far. If you want to check it out, click my sign-up link in the description below, and you'll get $50 off your first rental. Look at that dog. I was searching on Riders Share specifically for a Himalayan because, in my opinion, it could be the perfect motorcycle for Colorado. This state is just crawling with beautiful, scenic, twisty mountain roads, which are paved, and branching off from them are a litany of interesting unpaved back roads to explore, if you have the capability. Having a motorcycle that can transition seamlessly from one to the other, like this Himalayan can, seems pretty perfect, and today we're going to put that to the test. The place we're heading is Squaw Mountain, which I've chosen not only for its impressive stature and incredible beauty, but also for the fact that there are two roads leading to the top, one paved and one dirt, both extremely twisty. We're going to take a run up each one, assessing the Himalayan's prowess both on and off the pavement, and afterwards we'll decide which one was more fun. What's up, dude? We're going to start with the paved side. Riding the Royal Enfield Himalayan up the paved side of Squaw Pass. As the road starts to get steeper, the first thing I notice is the complete lack of power. That's not the point of this motorcycle, of course. It is, after all, just a 411cc single with a compression ratio of like 9.5. With the exception of a nice little fistful of torque down low, this motor sacrifices basically all performance potential in favor of durability and longevity. I think we're looking at about 25 horsepower, which is like barely half of what the KTM 390 Adventure offers, also with a single cylinder of roughly 400 cc's. But you know what they say about riding slow bikes fast. I see we got a little snow melt in the road. No traction control on this model, of course. Last time I was here was on my personal Triumph Speed Twin, which does have traction control and, of course, is much faster than this bike. But the Speed Twin is really not capable of traversing the unpaved roads that we're going to be visiting right after this. And to tell you the truth, right now on the paved side, I'm having fun. If I remember correctly, yes, this is a passing lane. There we go. Max power, little Himalayan. Come on, let's get around this Subaru. Barely does it. I mean, I cannot understate this motorcycle is completely gutless on the open road. It reminds me of my old TU250X, which if you pin the throttle when you're not in the power band, it's like nothing happens. If you want something this versatile that actually has a good amount of power, then you're looking at a proper full-size adventure bike, or at the very least like a V-Strom 650 or something. But when you step up to something like that, you give up this bike's approachability. You give up the low seat height and the light weight and the fuel efficiency and the low cost, which I think are some of the Himalayan's greatest assets. looks like we have reached the top. Echo Lake is what this is called. Wow, all frozen and snowed over. Then up there, I think beyond that peak, is Mount Evans, but that unfortunately is still closed. Oh yeah, definitely still closed. Alright, well, that's the paved side done. Let's go find the dirt route. Just stopped for gas down here in Idaho Springs before going back up to find that dirt road. The Himalayan, thankfully, takes regular. That includes Colorado regular, which is just 85. So we had gone through, well, let's see. It was full when I got it, so it had gone through 2.3 gallons. And I've done about 147 miles. That's about 64 miles a gallon. That's pretty darn good. Let's go find us some dirt to play in. We're looking for a left turn on Little Bear Creek Road, which is this dirt squiggle that runs up to the top of Squaw Mountain and joins Colorado 103, which we were on when we were up there. All right, here we are. Oh, shit. Oh, goodness. My camera is in the hard saddlebag. I really ought to move that into my backpack so it doesn't get bashed around. This is a huge waste of film. Sorry, camera. This thing has lived a hard life. You know what else I forgot to do? I forgot to turn off the rear ABS. Now we're ready. This is where you really appreciate that little fistful of torque down low. I am probably going to be crawling around all these corners in first gear, and the Himalayan is happy to do it. There's some bumps. So I actually learned about this road from watching another YouTuber called T-Dubs Kid. He's based here in Colorado and rides, as his name implies, a Yamaha TW200. He refers to this road as his shortcut up Squaw Mountain. And in a fairly recent video that he did, he was flying his drone around here, and he's got like a racing drone. Blows the pants off my Mavic Air, which has actually been giving me fits today. You might have seen in some of the earlier drone footage that it was like really listing to one side, trying to resist the wind. I wasn't flying in any windier conditions than I normally do, and it does not ordinarily react like that. It also, as I was stopped getting some other footage, I felt something hot in my backpack. I pulled it out. The drone was off. It was powered off, but it was like 1,000,000 degrees. It was almost too hot for me to touch. So I stopped and pulled the battery out of it, and then it cooled off. So hopefully that's not a sign that it's having a serious problem or something. Hello, C3 Corvette, just casually coming down the dirt shortcut. All right, if he can do this, then I can totally do this on the Himalayan. Woo! Back end got a little squirrely there, dropping into first gear. All right, I'm enjoying this. It's a bit of a challenge, and I don't really know what I'm doing. You can definitely feel a little bit of heat coming off of this air-cooled single cylinder, especially when you're going really slow around some of the bends. But honestly, it's not bad, especially out here. Oh, hello, little animal. I think my favorite thing about riding this bike off pavement is just how comfortably the suspension soaks up all the bumps and stuff in the dirt. Now this bike is going to be using some pretty cheap suspension componentry, which means it's going to be very dependent on the rider's weight, what sort of experience you have with it. And I, being about 160 pounds, find it pretty comfortable. If I weighed more, or if I was, hauling a lot of luggage or something, or if I was a more skilled dirt rider trying to ride a little more aggressively, I don't know, then it might start to show its weakness. But right now, I think it's pretty great, especially given that this is such a budget motorcycle. So yeah, I can only speak as somebody who is pretty much a newbie at riding in the dirt. But for me, this has been very, very easy. It kind of makes me want to do it more. I think it would be really fun to spend a lot more time on a road like this on this bike and learn to really push it. Oh, let's get a little mud. Yeah. I am going to be washing this bike before I return it. So going back to what I said a minute ago about this bike being easy to ride on dirt roads like this, I think that's a really important trait for a motorcycle this small, because here in the US, a lot of the people buying this are going to be first-time riders or new riders. So it needs to be easy to ride in all conditions that it's intended for, street and dirt. And here we are, back at Colorado 103. S1000XR, that's a... Honestly, that bike, even though it's kind of in the adventure style, I think the Himalayan would be easier to ride off-road than that thing would be. So now that we've done the paved road and the dirt road, I guess it's time to talk about which one was more fun. Okay, we're down here in Noble Meadow. Lost a little bit of altitude, air's not as thin, I can actually think straight now. And we're going to talk about what was more fun, riding the Himalayan on pavement or riding the Himalayan on dirt. Now, I cannot overstate that riding this thing up Squaw Pass was a hoot. This bike is hilarious in tight corners. It just tips in without thought. It tracks pretty good around a bend, even at speed. Nothing about it felt vague or wallowy, at least at the pace that I was going. And it's just fun to have a motorcycle that you can absolutely wring out on a road like that and not have to worry about doing hyper illegal speeds or crashing into a boulder or something. You know the old saying, it's more fun to ride a slow bike fast than it is to ride a fast bike slow. That said, this bike is really slow. Like really, really slow. You turn the throttle and you're not even sure if it's listening to you. That makes riding up a twisty uphill road like Squaw Pass kind of a game of momentum. You kind of get the speed up as best you can and try not to slow down for any reason. Because it requires so much momentum to make it through the corners, you find that you don't really get to use the brakes at all, and you don't really get to downshift, which is one of the most fun parts of riding at a sporty pace on a curvy road. So you get to have the experience of turning from side to side, of using the throttle and a little bit of upshifting, but you don't really get the experience of braking into a corner, picking your line, downshifting at just the right moment, blipping the throttle to rev match. It's just not there with a bike this slow. Now you might be thinking that I only experienced that because I was riding uphill, but on my way down here from Squaw Pass, I rode at a sporty pace again on a curvy paved road. Now I did get to downshift and rev match a bit more in that situation, which was fun, but going downhill leaves you relying on a motorcycle's brakes, and the brakes on the Himalayan are not that good, and I found myself coming into a lot of corners thinking like, ooh, can't you slow down a little more? And it just didn't have any more brake to give. So how was it different riding on the dirt? Well, it was fun up there too. It was really fun to just see some absolutely gnarly loose surfaces and plow this bike into them and have it roll over it like a champ. That was really satisfying every time. And for me, someone who doesn't really have any dirt riding skills, a motorcycle that made it easy for me just put such a big smile on my face. On top of that, I could tell that this motorcycle had a lot more potential to give on dirt roads, whereas I was probably pushing it pretty close to its performance potential on the pavement. I really, really want to get back out there on a Himalayan and try more dirt roads like that and see if I can improve and see what it's really capable of. So to answer the question, I would say that today I had more fun riding on the pavement. But the next time I take a Himalayan out, I want to take it on a dirt road. Sorry if that seems like kind of a cop-out non-answer, but that's how I feel. There's more untapped room for exploration on the dirt side right now, and so that's what excites me more. However, at the end of the day, this bike is great, both on-road and in the dirt, which is exactly what it was intended for. Where I would really like to get to know the Himalayan better would be on a tour, like a multi-day trip that would include both pavement riding and dirt riding. That, I think, would be awesome. It would be very doable with a bike this comfortable and with this much cargo capacity. I don't know. What do you guys think about the Himalayan? Do you like it? And what would be your preferred environment to ride it in? Let me know in the comments below. Well, that's about it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. This was an awesome ride today, and it makes me really happy that I got to bring you guys along. If you like this video, then hit the thumbs up button, and if you want to see more like it, then make sure you're subscribed to this channel. I have plenty more adventures to come on this trip out west, and also once I get back home to DC. And remember, if you're thinking about trying out Riders Share, use my sign-up link in the description. As always, you ride safe, and I'll see you back here for the next video. Thanks for watching.